Hello, everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. Asterisk after throwing the oil lamp down and watching it shatter, Chris thought it was all over. The square was silent. The shadows vanished. The abandoned village was left with only a cold mist. He sat down, exhausted, his eyes red from lack of sleep and terror. But deep inside him there was still a sense of unease, a vague premonition that it was not really over. Indeed, the silence did not last long. From the bottom of the well, a cold air blew out, swirling the mist like a tornado. Chris stood up, looked down, and saw the black water moving violently. A deep, mournful sound rang out, stronger than anything he had ever heard. You broke the seal. You freed us. But you also awakened something older. The ground shook. Abandoned houses creaked and collapsed. The mist cleared, revealing the stormy sea in the distance. In the sky, thunder and lightning tore across the sky, illuminating the huge waves that were rolling high. Chris ran toward the shore, his heart pounding. He saw the sea rushing into the village, faster than any tidal wave. The wind howled like the howls of 1,000 spirits. He rushed up the high cliff, where he could see the whole sea. In the distance, in the rain, a giant column of green light shot straight from the sea floor into the sky. Around it, giant shadows writhed like the body of a terrible creature awakened. Chris was stunned, his eyes unable to believe what he was seeing. All the spirit shadows he had seen were fragments. This thing that was rising was the real nightmare. The ground beneath his feet shook violently, rocks falling into the sea. The roar echoed, making his chest ache. Chris fell to his knees, muttering, "What have I done?" But then a familiar child's voice rang out in his ears, the voice of the child who had guided him. "Fear not, you have given us freedom. The price of freedom is that the sea will take it all." Chris whirled around, but saw no one. Only the mist was thinning, revealing the shoreline collapsing beneath the giant wave. He knew he had little time. The monster of the deep might never leave the bottom, but the wave it created would swallow everything. In a moment of despair, Chris thought of running, but his legs were frozen. He knew he could not run from the sea, nor from the fate he had. Awakened, he stood on the cliff, watching the fading column of green light. The final wave came, higher than the cliff, sweeping away what was left of the village. Thunder boomed, waves crashed. When the last green light disappeared, the village was completely submerged. Chris disappeared into the raging waves, as if he had never existed. Only the roaring sea remained, swallowing all traces. Many years later, people said that on stormy nights along the deserted coast, sometimes they still saw a figure standing on the cliff, holding a broken oil lamp, the blue light flickering. People called it the last lamp keeper. They whispered to each other that Chris's soul had become the last part of the curse. Forever bound to the sea dot at the end of episode 11, the last wave closed the cycle of the oil lamp, but opened a new legend about the lamp keeper in the storm. Follow the next stories on Reddit Mystery to discover more creepy mysteries.